Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the RipTunes digital MP4 player. This one sells on Amazon for about 20 bucks, so it's not too expensive and comes in a number of different capacities. We have the 4 gig version right here. So of course it plays back a few video clips if you want to use it to watch some very basic video content, although the screen itself doesn't have a very high definition resolution, so it's going to be best suited if you're going to just watch some quick clips on the go. Otherwise, it does have a 1.8-inch display, which is a TFT LCD, and can also be used for showing off some photos. JPEG images will be displayed just fine on here, and you can, of course, load back any MP3 or WMA formatted songs and music content. Otherwise, taking a quick look here, the menu system being used is basically the same as the version that we've seen before by a lot of generic Shenzhen companies on Amazon. Otherwise, what is a little bit different is the presence of a slightly sleeker, I think, overall presentation as far as the design is concerned. As you can see here, you can navigate up and down, left and right between the main functions. However, although the actual menu itself requires you to move up and down this list, to navigate this you have to press left and right, which takes a little bit of acclimation to get used to. Otherwise, you can see that functions on here allow you to play back your music. The overall music quality here is decent, although not the best we've heard in the world. It does load up a fair amount of content and does a good job. It shows off this equalizer view when you are listening to music. And there's also a battery status on the very top that shows off how much of the battery is left. There's also settings for the equalizer down below. Otherwise, as far as performance is concerned, it doesn't actually show off any cover art, so that's something to quickly note and keep in mind. To exit things, you just tap on the menu key for a few seconds. So next we have a few video clips that you can watch on here, but the main thing that you should keep in mind is that, again, the screen is not so huge, so really it's not the best experience for watching videos. Also, the RipTunes MP4 player is not capable of directly playing back MP4 file videos. So you have to kind of recode the videos and compress them before plugging them into the unit. It's a sip and plug and play solution that uses USB 2.0 and works kind of like a flash drive when you plug it into a Mac or a PC. Next, there is a basic voice recorder functionality. It takes advantage of a mono microphone that picks up sound decently for some quick voice memos, or maybe you're using it for a lecture or a meeting. It does the job for that. You can also play back the recordings down below. And again, here is the aforementioned photo viewer that does a okay job of showing off some quick images you might want to load on here in a slideshow-like view. Again, the display in general is a little bit on the washed out side of the spectrum, and viewing angles aren't the best we've seen, but overall, for an MP4 player of this price point, we're not really complaining too much. There's also the ability for you to adjust the overall speed of the slideshow and to delete your photos directly on the unit. Settings here allows you to change the menu user interface layout, also change the timeout settings for the display, as well as format the languages. Finally, there is a basic ebook reader function on here, but really it's just a text file viewer, not really a fully baked ebook reader, just because the screen is so tiny and it shows off only text files, and a lot of times the words that you'll see will get cut off between different lines, and so we really only recommend it for some quick memos, maybe some addresses and contacts you want to store, but that's the extent of it. If you're actually reading a book, it's going to be quite difficult just because it involves a lot of scrolling, and obviously an LCD screen is not as convenient as a grayscale monochrome e-ink screen for actually reading text files. So at the end of the day, the RipTunes digital MP4 player, I would say, is not a bad MP4 player. It certainly is a budget-oriented model that you may want to consider picking up if you don't want to bring a more expensive audio player when on the go. This is also going to be good for kids, I suppose, that still don't have a smartphone, even though a lot of these features can now be found at smartphones, even at entry-level prices. Before we finish this review, we're going to take a quick look at the hardware, just doing a quick tour here. It is made out of the soft touch material, which is quite easy to grip and hold, so it is pretty comfortable. It doesn't attract too much fingerprints or smudges. Down below here, we have a typical 4-way navigation toggle with a center OK key for play pausing your music. And there's also this interesting band which can be snapped off and replaced if you want different color schemes, so that adds a touch of customization and color. The bottom features access to a mini USB port for charging and syncing information. It takes about 2 hours to completely charge. And there's also the 3.5mm headphone jack. The right-hand side features a lock switch for turning the unit on or off, as well as some basic equalizer and shuffling functionality. The back just features some basic info about the model number, and that's basically it. So you can check out more details about this RipTunes digital MP4 player in our official written review, but for now we're just going to say we don't completely recommend it. Certainly not the best MP4 player we've seen, but a fair price to pay for the feature set that you have on board. Thanks for watching here at OS Review.